Good evening, race fans. Welcome to Nurburgring, Germany. Only about a 1.5 hour drive from Spa-Francorchamps, track that we were just at last week over there in Stavelot, Belgium. Lies the Nurburgring GP. This is just but a portion of the 24-hour track that is run here for Nürburgring. This is not including the Nordschleife. It's not including the extra 100+ corners that the track dubbed as Green Hell includes. This is the Grand Prix circuit. It's the one that was used for Formula One a few times. Built back in 1984. It's a fun little track here. Only 13 corners, and it's a very fast track here. Got plenty of straightaways here to make some passing, but a couple chicanes here and a couple tricky little spots could catch these drivers up. Carla Hamwork joined in the booth by Joe Sullivan. And Joe, CSRL season, or can't even think right now, race number 5 here for season 9, and it's been a pretty good one so far. The points are tight, and we keep it in the German accent over here, but Nürburgring GP is going to be a little bit of a test for these guys that don't have any practice on it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm getting acquainted to a lot of these new tracks. This is another one that I'm getting acquainted to, and I actually got some time to get some laps in here, and several seconds off these guys' pace, but hey, we're miles behind them. But this is a fun little track. Lots of speed and some of these straightaways, like you said, and some of these tight corners are going to be fun to see how these guys can get around through here and see what kind of drama and action they can put on the track here today.
I mean, that's ultimately why we get paid, Joe. You may think that we get paid for our broadcasting. We actually just get paid to stay off the track. That's really what it is. So now it's
a lot to stay off the track.
Well, let's take a look at the point standings here after 4 races, and again, it's pretty tight here at the top of both of the standings, as currently Craig Jancic is on top of the boards by a mere 2 points over Peter Muller, another 2 back to Colin Winslow, and then another 2 back to Siviani Madrigal. So only 6 points separating the top 4, and really only another 4 points back to Devin Young there in 5th place. 10 points covering the top 5 and the Class Pro. But over in the AM, even a little bit tighter at the top, as you got John Nobinger 2 points in the lead over both Christian Ortiz Torres and Bryce Rayner, both tied at 104 in 2nd place, and then another 4 points back to Antonio Avendano Diaz, and another 4 back to Jim Herrick. So same situation, 10 points covering the top 5, but it's been some really good racing, and certainly not without some issues and some problems from some of our favorites, our top guys in some of these races. So it's not like it's just one guy dominating every single week, which is why these points are so tight. But we are done with qualifying. We're going to get this thing underway. We'll get the standings off the boards there, and we'll take a look at the results here from qualifying in the Pro Class. I was going to say, if it's nice to come up here, Pro Class is going to be Craig Jancic, your pole sitter, by a huge margin, as you can see right there. 0.001. That is 1,000th of a second, almost a 2-minute lap time, and the top 2 separated by 1,000th of a second. You love to see that.
I mean, couldn't they do it any other way, Carl? This is how they do it here.
You look at the top 4. I mean, the top 4 separated by less than a half of a hundredth, so that's pretty amazing. But Peter Muller, Colin Winslow, Devin Young, and then Siviani Madrigal are going to be the top 5. Skyler Vickroy, Tyler Torville, Jonathan Neal, Frank Bassano, and Randy Iyer is going to round out your top 10, and then the rest of the pro field is going to be Jim Dutton, Dan Morera, Brandon Powell, Renan De Lima, and Jose Peraza. Over in the AM class, it is going to be Bryce Rayner on top by a actual big margin, 1.5 seconds over Antonio Avendano Diaz. Christian Ortiz Torres in 3rd, Todd Torville, Nicholas Coate, William Burrell, Jason Potts, Stefan Price, Carlos Rodriguez, Jay Little going to round out your top 10. You have to look on the 2nd page for our points leader, as he was not able to get a time in here, but it's going to be Ian Wilson, Paul Bailey, John Nobinger, the points leader in 13th, Brandon Potts, Jim Herrick, and Ryan Farron going to round out your 16-car AM field for tonight. So once again, nice field. Looks like we got 30 cars set to take the grid here tonight, and as always, I mean, we're waiting for tonight's storyline. There's a storyline just about every night here in CSRL. So, Joe, what are you looking forward to? It's not a track that we come to here too often here to the Nurburgring GP track. So, what are you looking for tonight?
Well, I mean, you talk about storylines. We already started with one with John starting in the back here, and as your points leader, not the place you want to be starting. So we'll see how he can navigate and get through this field and see what kind of results he can get, as we got a short parade lap here, and we're going to be getting ready to roll. So let's see what kind of action these guys can put on here, and low track temps. So we'll see how these first couple laps go.
And you look right there on the right-hand side, that is the pit lane, and that's going to be a talking point here tonight at some point. But right now, the talking is going to be done on the track, on the start here, and it is going to be getting green here in a second. Some guys just wobbling around here, maybe not getting the green just yet. It's a bit of a long drive till you actually get the green, but it is waving now, and we are racing here at the Nurburgring GP. Tough turn number one here, hard braking zone. You see them all fanned out already, 3, almost 4 wide here in a couple areas, and some cars turned off to the side there. Looks like Carlos Rodriguez, William Burrell, maybe Ian Wilson involved in that one, but they will make it into the arena, and a long sweeping left-hand turn where you're almost kind of apexing. It seems like you're apexing about 6 times before you want to keep it all the way to the left there to set up the exit out of the arena and head off into the nice kind of, it's nice flowing kind of track here for a GP circuit, and head off into the Valvoline curve and then down into the complex here. A beautiful hairpin right here. This is the Dunlop curve as they come all the way down the hill. You're going to be heavy braking on the left-hand side of the track and then sweep all the way through this thing. And it's one of those hairpins where, don't get on the gas yet, not yet, not yet. You just have to wait to finally get all that power down before you head up into the Schumacher S here, and a great little S-turn right here that you want to try and keep it flat out if possible. But this track is, again, it's got some nice straightaways, it's got some nice passing zones, but it's going to come at you left and right for sure.
Yeah, it's also got some curves that I thought may come into play here also, but I was watching some of these guys in practice, and it seems like they were attacking them pretty aggressively, so I wondered how the curves would play out here today. Obviously, with no real experience here, usually curves are good and bad, so and these things are kind of got some height to them, so I wondered how they would play, but these guys are just being able to drive right over them.
This is a battle up front, but not for position, as Rayner was going for the overall lead there. That is your M-Class leader. He was taking on the Pro Class leader there for a second there, Craig Jancic, but he's going to make a little bit of a mistake and fall back here a little bit. Now Colin Winslow himself in the second place, Siviani Magical in the third, Peter Muller and Tyler Torville are your top 5 here in the M Class, or I'm sorry, in the Pro Class. In the M, it is Rayner, Diaz, Torres, Potts, and Price getting away here, but we'll try and take a look back and see what exactly transpired here into turn number 1. And I mean, you know, pick your poison as to where you want to look, but it looks like some contact here with the 831 of Brandon Powell and the 72 there as well, getting mixed up. That is Jose Peraza going off track, but then we also had Carlos Rodriguez showing up here as a crash. We'll see exactly what happened here. It might have just been some cars slowing up here in the beginning. You see the 2 shooting off there to the right. Randy Ayers almost gets punched up. You see, little Constantina right there with everybody getting together. But how about that 4 wide through turn 1? You want your storyline? Well, chapter 1's been pretty good here so far.
That's good. Bryce was up there trying to get the overall lead right there, trying to come to the lap 1. That's I mean, he was trying to make his move there and get up there. I was surprised to see Siviani qualify so bad, because he had, I mean, in practice he had the field by half a second almost, and he's in a new car this week. He's in the Corvette this week, so he's trying something new this week, and practice has seemed to be paying off. And so far in this race, he's up to 3rd here, and I mean, Siviani's smooth and steady as she goes.
Yeah, and maybe some of the field kind of holding back a little bit. Maybe some of the field just kind of getting a feel for it on that first lap as we got a car coming out of pit lane there. Looks like that is Ian Wilson coming out of the pits as your top three go by. But Siviani still got pace. He's still hanging up there right behind both Jancic and Winslow. You take a look back here as we get to see exactly what happened here, because it is no longer
Bryce.
Yeah, no longer Bryce Rayner at the top, and this could be why right here.
He went to the pits.
So this was the initial moment right here that got him off track, and I'm not sure if he made contact there or not. It's not exactly the best camera view. We'll try and take a look at it one more time, and maybe see from a different camera view, and see if he actually made contact with the wall here. It seemed like it kind of really shot out there pretty quickly. But you see him getting wicked loose, tries to correct it, but overcorrects it, and of course every camera angle wants to show the entire front stretch here. But it looks like he kind of shot back over, and yeah, right there, some hard impact.
Right
so
there.
that could have very well damaged his car, and trying to see if there's anything else on the next on that lap. But no, there's nothing else, but he did enter pit lane on the next lap, so he is towards the back, and it is Antonio Avendano-Diaz in first place now, and he will more than willing to be happy about that right there. But he's got Jose Peraza, one of the pro drivers, right behind him, and not too far right behind them. You see right there is Christian Ortiz Torres. But Antonio needs a good run here tonight. He seems to be just a little bit off. Maybe he's still getting used to the Mustang here, as Peraza that was in there deep. But it's good to see Diaz back out there in the lead. Torres right there in second. He's been just kind of plodding along all year and stringing together some good runs all season so far. Nomier, the points leader, is back there in fourth place, but you see already about 7 seconds behind the leaders. It doesn't take too long, and when you have a bad qualifying effort, it's going to happen quick, especially when you're going 4 or 5, 17 wide, whatever it was, into corner number 1.
Yeah, when turn one's a parking lot, you don't want to be at the end of that parking lot, because bad things will happen to you. As we've seen from those guys, just get into that. I mean, it's just a traffic jam. There's a crash on the interstate, and you guys are stuck there for a second, and they have no place to go, and they just ended up piling up.
Well, not for lack of trying by Rayner, as he tried to take the overall lead there in the beginning before he had the mistake, and now unfortunately he's going to have to fight back. But this is the first time all season we've seen the pro class actually be the pro class. The top 10 overall are all pro class drivers, and Peraza would like to make it the top 11 here, as your highest running AM class driver is in 11th place overall. Looking at him right here, Antonio Avendano-Diaz. But you see the pro class, they're not exactly getting away from each other either. As if you're new to the stream here, the orange numbers indicating a close battle, and you see right here is the close battle for the lead between Jancic and Winslow. The yellow numbers indicate that a battle is pretty close, anywhere from a half a second to a second. And then if it's white, it means it's outside of a second and not exactly a battle at the moment. But these guys up here in the top couple spots have been in the orange for quite some time. Jancic not getting away.
No, and you got Colin right there, both in the Porsches, and Siviani, as it's getting tighter, as these laps go on, it's getting snugger and snugger here. They're going to provide some kind of drama here for us and put on some kind of show, and we'll see what team can come out on the other side of it.
Yeah, chapter 1 has been written, and maybe chapter 1 is over as we're getting done with 8 minutes now, but I'm sure the rest of these chapters are going to be fun-filled for sure. I want to send a shout-out to everybody out there watching in CRN Nation. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer, especially these guys right here in CSRL putting on a great show every Wednesday night. Also want to give a shout-out to our series sponsor here this season, and that is Skyler Vickroy here in the ZFG Racing Mustang. And if you want to check in with Skyler here and jump on board with the 28 and see how he's handling this Nurburgring GP, you can check him out on either his YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/AVOVOOM Gaming, or you can check him out on his Twitch channel, which for some reason I always miss that Twitch channel. And I believe it is the same thing, but I'll double check, but I believe it's the same thing, the Twitch at AVOVOOM. But he's having a pretty good race here so far, up here in 7th place, hanging on right there behind Tyler Torville. And again, he's another one that's in one of these newer cars, the Mustang, the Corvette, newer to the GT series. And we mentioned how good that Mustang sounds. I mean, it is what it is. Whether you're a Ford fan or not, that Mustang it sounds good. And it may not be the best handling car at times. I know I was not a fan of it when I had to run it for Watkins Glen. It was a little better with an actual setup, but it just sounds good. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe I just got behind the wheel and I was daydreaming and wasn't hitting my spots, but it's a good sounding car.
It sounded so good you were just cruising like you were cruising down the interstate.
Exactly. Yeah. I realized going down the backstretch of Watkins Glen, I just had one hand on the wheel and hold on, this is a race. This isn't just a leisurely drive through the Finger Lakes region.
Yeah, he's one of the drivers who is in this Mustang and committed to it, and him and Diaz are two of the ones that pretty much are rocking the Mustang this season and trying to take advantage of any kind of learning that they can with it. And I mean, he's consistently been one of the top Ford finishers in this series here. So just taking the season as he can get it and learn as much as he can from. He's going to try to dive in there on Tyler. Can't get it done yet, but he's putting the laps and getting some good finishes this season. I know it's probably not the finishes that he wants, but I mean, easily in the top 10 every week, and just like I say, it's just there's levels to this stuff, and in order to get wins, you gotta finish races, and then you gotta finish in the top 10 and top 5s, and then the wins will come. So he's just building blocks, and then eventually we'll see him in these top 3s and getting wins here.
Well, I mean, like they always say, to finish first, you must first finish. And right now, he's just trying to get some good, solid finishes in here. And yeah, just to confirm, it is twitch.tv/AVOVOOM for a little onboard action here with the 28. And again, it's another good start for him. It's a good start for a lot of these guys out here. A couple of mix-ups here in the first couple laps, as you typically have. But out front, it is Craig Jancic, Colin Winslow, Siviani Madrigal, Peter Moeller, and Devin Young. And look, it looks like we got all the top 5 right there.
They got 2 tickets to this party, and they're trying to get in. Absolutely. They want some of this top 3 action.
Yeah, top 5 separated right now by 2.25 seconds, and we're already a quarter of the way through this race. So a great battling right here, and it brings us to a little bit of our talking point before we start the broadcast here, and that is pit lane. Pit lane is a little bit tricky here, a little bit wonky where you're getting onto pit lane, and we'll hop over here with Paul Bailey, as he is running right now in 8th place in the M class. But really what we look at here is that's the last chicane right there on the right-hand side.
Yep.
That is pit lane. It doesn't look that bad. It's a nice straightaway, but you have to keep to the inside there all the way through the last corner, and that's where it can pose a problem, because if you drift out there a little bit wide, you get up over that curb, all of a sudden, not only are you not going in the pits, but you can get an unsafe, I'm not sure if it registers an unsafe entry or unsafe exit, but either way, you're getting a penalty, and it's bad enough all the time you're going to lose going into the pits, but then when you're going to lose it for a penalty as well, it can really kind of set you back. So this is it's going to be interesting to see when these drivers peel off and go into pit lane here tonight. But I mean, the top 5 guys separate themselves a little bit before that, and right now it's just getting closer, as it is Siviani Madrigal now back into 4th, Colin Winslow into 3rd, because Peter Moeller is up into 2nd.
Ooh, Peter's on the move here. We should jump on board with Peter here. Past it. Yeah, okay. So maybe on the next time. We got a pit.
There we go. We got one. Colin Winslow going to come into the pits a bit early here. Maybe a little short pit action. And I mean, realistically, with all 5 of these guys on top of each other, it's not a bad move. Coming in here, getting himself out of the craziness here. But we'll take a look and see exactly what happened here. Wrong one there. This is Peter Moeller and how he got into 2nd place. And there was a car sideways. It looks like it was Brian Farron right in front. And actually, it was a little mix right here. This is right in front of your leaders in the Pro class. And Winslow getting into the back of him. That is how.
Oh, that explains why Colin came to pits.
Yeah.
Colin probably came to get his fast repair.
Fast repair, and he can certainly make it to the end from here as well. But Muller gets himself into second. He was right there challenging Jancic the last time we were looking at it. He's still only 0.6 of a second back. So now it is the top four under a blanket here, under 1.7 seconds in the Pro class. Over in the AM class, it's getting tight as well. Christian Ortiz Torres has reeled in Antonio Avendano Diaz. 3-name versus 3-name right here, and right now Diaz has got it under control, but only just.
I hope they're not looking too far behind him, because your points leader is coming out behind him. Oh, Diaz goes wide. Torres to the inside.
And this is going to be interesting, going side by side through the Schumacher chicane, but it looks like, actually that wasn't Schumacher chicane. I was right. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that was Schumacher chicane. Anyway, it is Diaz that is going to push a little bit wide, and then a Dunlop corner, give up first place. And yeah, looking at his rearview mirror, he's got a mirror full of Nobinger right now, as he has maybe find a little bit of speed. It seemed like he was a bit off, like you mentioned, about 5th place in the AM class here in practice, but found a little bit something. Probably wish he would have been able to put a lap time in and not have to deal with some of the chaos in the beginning, but he's worked his way through and worked his way right up here. So we've got the top 3 in the AM class separated by less than a second. The top 3 in the Pro class, or the Pro class separated by less than a second. The AM class top 3 separated by 1.5 seconds. This is what we like to see. This is some good, hard racing here by these boys at CSRL.
Yeah, that was a weird lap for Diaz. It seemed like he had a moment and then just let Torres go, and then just didn't seem to have any speed. All of a sudden, Nobinger's going to try to get around him here, going in 1 2 here.
Yeah, through the arena.
Take away second.
Outside the entire time here, but Nobinger sends it in there, and he gets to the inside, covers off Diaz, moves himself up into second. And he wants to get there quickly because he sees Torres starting to check out a little bit. 1.4 seconds now is the lead. Take a look back over at the Pro class, and Jancic lead has shrunk a little bit as well. Under half a second. Peter Muller is on the charge here, and we'll hop on board with the 997 and take a look at his run here, his attempt to try and run down at this 3.
And we can just see how, from the cockpit, of how quick you have to react to make it to pit road here, and still be able to carry some speed. So the in and out lap of pit road here is crucial, just as like it was last week, towards it's so technical to get on the pit road here, and then it's kind of a lengthy one.
Yeah, that's the final chicane right here, and on the right there is where you need to dive right into pit lane. You can go across the red rumble strips at the beginning there and still make it into pit lane, but not exactly easy. But man, what a run here by Muller. Good start here for the 997. Keep it up with Jancic. Madrigal not too far behind there in 3rd. Not sure what happened to Youngest. He's fallen off the back here just a little bit. Trying to look back through and see if you notice anything, and almost some contact going in through turn number 1.
Craig was in that turn for quite some time, and Peter had to kind of check up a little bit extra for him. Ooh, a great view right there. Look at that.
In case you wanted to know how close they were, right there. I mean, I guess if you have the HDR, the high def on there, they might be a little bright for you with those lights coming at you, but a good run out of the corner there as Jancic pulls away just a little bit, and now Muller has got his mirror full of Madrigal, who is not letting these guys go at all.
Looks like Devin Young's trying to work himself back into the conversation as well. But he's just a little bit back there as these 3. I mean, they're going to be... Devin Young should be able to get back up to him. They're battling each other and trying... I think Peter's trying to find a way around Craig. He just doesn't quite have the spot picked out yet or have the run yet. So maybe he's just trying to put as much pressure on Craig as he can to see if Craig can make a mistake here. So let's pass a Ketchellette car here. Is that Herrick or Morera? couldn't tell which one that was.
That was a little cleaner pass this time around the lap car, and none of the other top guys in the Pro class getting involved in anything, but this is a great battle up front. Devin Young is still back there. He's only 1.7 seconds behind at Madrigal, and this top 3 overall as Moeller gets very close again, but a little bit of a deep run that gives Madrigal a chance to catch back up here a little bit. 0.7 seconds separating the top 3 as we're coming up on the halfway point. Everybody look to the inside. Everybody, both drivers getting very close, and Madrigal had to take evasive action there to go around the outside.
No bigger to pit road. We got our A class starting some Jason Potts to pit road. So 2 of your top 4.
Review from the drone here on this battle for the lead in the overall, and you see the top 3 on screen, but you see 4th place Devin Young catching right back up here as a good view of the crowd right there as we zoom on by. But yeah, it's going to start getting busy here pretty soon. We are again just past that halfway point right now, so these guys for sure are good to go all the way to the end. And now the choice is, when do you want to commit? Because you see the track map, there is dots all over this track, a little bit of a gap from the back of the back of the M class to the front of the Pro class. But wherever you come into the pits, you're going to come out in a gaggle of cars one way or another. So it's going to be very interesting to see when these guys elect to come into the pits and who is leading when they come into the pits, as Moeller working on Jancic, and side by side heading down into the final chicane here. Moeller has got the lead. Jancic looking for a rebuttal down here. Will he get a chance into the chicane? He's not going to. Moeller is going to take the lead. I wouldn't be surprised yet if Jancic comes into the pits. That's exactly what I thought would have happened right there. Jancic now into the pits. It is the top 3 now. Moeller, Madrigal, and Devin Young still out there. We'll see where Jancic comes out in relationship to Colin Winslow, who pit early. Was the first one out of this top 5 that came into the pits. Right now over in the M class, Ortiz Torres is leading over Dan Morera, who is in, actually, I'm sorry, not Dan Morera, Rodriguez, who is in 2nd place in a big margin, but there's a lot of faster AM class cars that have come into the pits, and Ortiz Torres still has yet to come in, but that was a very timely pass there by Moeller, and maybe an even timelier call to pit lane for that 3 of Jancic.
Yeah, definitely. If we get a chance to talk to Craig after this race, we'll see if that was planned or he's right by Colin.
Well, you wanted to know where Colin was? There is Colin Winslow making the pass, and that was very tight coming out of the pit road. It's still not over. Winslow's going to have the outside, but now he's going to have the inside coming through and out of the arena. But what a drive by Jancic on the cold tires. And I know he didn't change tires, but they're still a little bit cooler coming out of the pits. But Winslow's going to have to fall in line here, and he is right behind now in 2nd. Now, again, the question is going to be, where is Moeller, Madrigal, and Young going to come out when they make their pit stops?
Wow, what a move there from Craig. I mean, coming right out of the pits, and Colin's right there, and he knows that that's for position, and possibly the race, the win of the race. So, and Colin had him, but then Craig was able to get back around him.
Man, I'm not sure if Moeller was getting held up here or not, but he has been a rocket ship since he got around the leader of Jancic, and he is pulling away here about 1.4 seconds, almost 1.5 seconds over Madrigal since he took the lead here. Moeller maybe feels a little more comfortable here in clean air as he runs almost his best lap of the race, only 0.04 of a second off, but still in the 155s. Zipriani Madrigal not too far off, still trying to hang in here and does not want to lose it. It looks like Devin Young falling back just a little bit in the Ferrari, but man, pit road once again is going to be very interesting how this thing all shakes out. We look back here, Winslow not letting go of Jancic at the back of this field. Currently, these guys are running 10th and 11th, but everybody in front of them needs to come into the pits, and man, Jancic just taking it really cautious through turn 1, and Bowler got close to getting contact there. Winslow too.
Yeah, several times. Even when Peter was right behind him, he got into him, or was nearly getting into him there in turn 1 several times. So Craig not taking turn 1 as aggressive as some of these other guys are. He's tiptoeing through it, it seems like. And once Peter got up to these guys and was right behind Craig, you could just tell that Peter had just a little bit more pace and speed than Craig, and was able to find a way around him.
We'll see if any of these top 3 elect to come in this time by. Right now, the top 10 overall have yet to pit, and only one of those top 10s is the AM class. That is Christian Ortiz Torres. And then Carlos Rodriguez, second place right now, and the AM has yet to pit as well. Bryce Rayner has moved himself back up into 3rd place in the AM class, but that could very well turn into the lead once this all cycles out, as he is ahead of John Nominger right now by a good margin, about 12 seconds ahead of Nominger. Looks like the top 3 still staying out here. Maybe they want that field to spread out a little bit more, so that way when they come out, it's a little bit more cleaner air. But good lead right now, 2 seconds heading into turn number 1 for Peter Bowler. He is feeling it, runs the fastest lap of the race that last time by, or at least in his terms. I'm not sure if it was a fast lap overall. Actually, it wasn't. Devin Young with a 154.99 has the fastest lap right now in 3rd place. But these top 3 still running 55s and running well. Was Muller again holding a little bit back here and just kind of pacing himself when he was in that top 5 battle?
I believe so. I mean, I think he was just, getting there, taking his time getting there, and then, once he got close enough, it was hit the turbo button and let's go. And I would say clean air was a factor, but it didn't seem like it was too much of a helping hand to Craig when he was out front. So, and they're in the same car. So,
I'll tell you what, if you wanted to see what your points leader here in the pro class has to do for an entire race when he is pressured, you're seeing it here tonight. He was in the lead, being pressured the entire time, did not get away. I don't think he ever sniffed anything close to a second lead the entire race when he was out front, and now a little bit the same. He's back in the pack in 10th place right now, waiting for all these other guys to pit, but he still doesn't have any reprieve. He's got Colin Winslow right behind him, right on his tail, about 0.6 of a second behind him. So this is a bit of not a rough race, but it's one where he can't just look out front, just drive the track and put in some quality fast laps. He's got to mirror drive a little bit tonight.
Yeah, he's not Carl in the Mustang, just out there cruising around long Watkins Glen. He's got to put some work into this thing and try to get back up here and see how everything shakes out after these other guys get into their pit cycle here, and we'll see when that's going to be, because we're getting to almost 10 to go here, 10 minutes to go. We're about 12 and a half to go here, so we'll see if that's going to work out to Peter's advantage here. I mean, obviously you go longer and then you can take less fuel at the end here. So, but as you always say, like the short pit's usually the way to go. But we'll see how it works out for these guys, because you definitely don't want to come out and be in traffic. Like what you were talking about, because then you get stuck and then your lap times aren't what they should be if you only got a little bit of clean track.
Let's take a look over at the AM class, as this is the battle for the lead. Carlos Rodriguez has yet to come into pit lane. He's leading right now, but Bryce Rayner is looking to make the pass and get back in the lead after his early incident. Put him back quite a ways, but he came in here, made his pit stop, got that car all cleaned back up, and he is back racing hard, trying to get the lead the hard way around Rodriguez. Joe, we haven't done it for a little because there's been so much action on the track, and not that there's a lack of action here tonight, but I think it's time we crank these GT3 cars up and give everyone out there in CRN Nation a little love to hear it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let's do it.
sights and sounds of CSRL here in full song. Taking a look in each one of these makes and models here, as we got a bunch of them representing here tonight. But Joe, you wanted a little bit of drama. You wanted a little bit of switching it up here. The top 5 has completely switched around, and we watched a lot of it unfold here under the Love to Hear It segment, and we've got a whole new order in the top 5. Siviani Madrigal now to the lead. We see him just make the pass as Peter Muller was coming out of the pits. Devin Young in 3rd place. Jancic was battling with Winslow just a little bit. May have been enough to fall him back to 4th. Winslow right there in 5th, but this thing is far from over. You still got 7 seconds. It seems like it's a lot separating the top 5 right now, but one little mistake and that can all be put on its head. But Madrigal doing Madrigal things here, as he was fast in practice. Maybe he found it a little bit here. Maybe that pit stop was all he needed. He is out there 1.5 seconds ahead of Muller, who was doing the exact same thing to him when he was in the lead, stretching it out.
Yeah, Mr. Smooth. I mean, we gotta come up with a nickname for Siviani here. I mean, just smooth and steady as she goes, and was able to get on pit road and get out of there and get right in front of Peter, as we've seen there during that segment. And my man just is, I mean, smooth and steady as she goes, and he's got himself was a 1.5 second lead here over Peter. Obviously, Peter's got some really good speed and was able to put some really quick laps down when he was out in front there after he got around Craig. But we'll see if he can. He's got about a little under 5 minutes to try to run down Siviani.
Yeah, I think this thing is far from over. I don't think we've seen the last of Muller. I think it just took a little bit for him to come back in. He's seen what happened on that first run. He was just kind of hanging back there in the middle of the top 5 until that Porsche really came alive in the later stages of the run, when it got a little bit lighter on fuel. And you're starting to see it here again. It was at the 1.5 seconds. It's down all the way down to 1.1 before it stretches back out now to 1.3. It seems like that Corvette just really hooking up nicely through the arena. But as soon as they get out of the arena, that's when Muller starts inching his way closer and closer. It's down to 1.3 seconds, and this is going to be a good one here. Jancic has caught the back of Devin Young. He is trying to work his way around. He's been trying to work his way around for quite some time, and I don't think Young is that slow, but he is certainly hampering any chances that Jancic had of getting himself 1st or 2nd here tonight without any kind of mistakes by the top 2, but we're running out of time for mistakes. In the meantime, over in the AM class, Bryce Rayner got that car cleaned up, and man, they really scrubbed all the dirt off of that thing. He is flying 15 seconds ahead of the rest of the AM class right now. John Nomier sitting in 2nd, way back there, but he's got a nice size lead as well over Antonio Avendano Diaz, who is in 3rd, Ortiz Torres in 4th, and then Rodriguez making up your top 5. But yeah, Rayner, he's battling for the overall lead, so he's clearly got a ton of speed out here tonight. And he found his way into the pits, got that thing cleaned up, and he found his way back to the front of the pack.
Oh, I just, any concern for him making it? I mean, surely he took enough fuel to make it to the end, but
I mean, you pit on lap number 2. Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. I mean,
could he become get to where he's 1 lap short? Because if he has like auto fuel on,
and we might not have to worry about that at all, as he is into the wall again.
He's got time if he's not too broken.
Yeah,
plenty of time. It looks fine.
Unless that car has any kind of issues, he's going to lose 10 seconds on that right there. And really, that's kind of the story of what we've seen of him this season. He's got tons of speed, but every once in a while, he just has that little bobble, a little bit of a mistake, and it's cost him before. It's cost him here tonight. He's able to right the ship now twice, but you see, Nomier is closing in the distance there. Only a couple laps to go. As long as that Ferrari is still running straight and can get through these corners, he should be okay. But man, you got to really be careful here to finish this thing out.
Yeah, let's jump on board and see if he hit that wheel straight. I wonder if he's got any kind of toe issues. If he's able to. That's a pretty good hit, but seems to be driving okay.
All of a sudden, I can't find the cockpit camera. There we go.
Oh, okay. He
see?
looks fine as steering components go. Looks like it's still driving straight. He's still got a straight wheel. So if that thing was, 45 degrees, I would say he's in trouble. But he's probably got like 2 laps left here, so maybe he can just limp this thing home.
Well, that's what he's going to focus on right now. It has nothing to do with lap times. He's got a 4.5-second lead, down to 4 1/4 now. But he's just got to make that thing to the end. Taking a look back up at the battle for top 5 positions. Winslow has reeled back in Jancic, and maybe Jancic's attempt to try and catch up to Young and make the pass has worn out his tire just a little bit, as Winslow now making the run back here, and he'd love to get around his friend, the number 3 here of Jancic, to try and grab a 4th place here tonight. Half a second as they come down the front stretch, trying to look for where Boney is positioned, is to see if we get an eye on the white flag, and I don't think we've seen it that time by, but I don't see why we wouldn't. It should be white flag this time, and this should be the last lap of the race. But out front, Madrigal trying to finish this thing out. You see Muller still stalking, still right there. 1.4 seconds again. It seems like Madrigal's just keeping him at bay back there. It hasn't really gotten under a second in any kind of major challenge yet for Madrigal, so as long as he keeps this thing clean, he may be able to look at a win here tonight.
Yeah, same thing, but he hasn't got a win this season. Several podium finishes, but I'm not sure if he's gotten a win. I know Peter's gotten a win. Maybe Sibiani, he can make some noise up in this pro class and really, cut into Craig's lead here. As Craig, he was 6 points behind Craig, 4 points behind Peter.
Yeah, I mean, the run here tonight is going to catch him right up there. I mean, it's 2 points in between each position. So right now, it'd be a tie between him and Jancic. Muller looks to be the one that is going to end up, well, actually, he made up, oh yeah, he should be 2 points clear if my calculations are correct. So, I mean, it was very close coming into this race. It's going to be even tighter, but coming through the final chicane, coming through the final corner right now, checkered flag is out for the 8 of Sibiani. Madrigal gets it done here tonight. Took him a little bit to find his way to the front, but he did it at the right time. The 8 of Madrigal, top step of the podium here tonight. Peter Muller going to come home in 2nd place. Great run for him. Little ways back here, Devin Young is going to complete the podium here, and we got 3 different countries on the podium here tonight. I haven't seen that in quite some time. A great run here for Devin Young, grabbing 3rd place. Jancic going to come home in 4th. Colin Winslow in 5th. Over in the M class, it looks like Rayner is going to indeed limp that thing home one way or another, and he's going to grab the win here tonight in the M class. John Nomir going to come home in 2nd, should be good enough to easily retain the points lead heading out of here, and then Antonio Avendano Diaz going to grab that 3rd spot.
Ooh, held on Torres.
Just barely, as Torres was on a pace to try and catch him and make that pass, but Torres is going to have to settle for 4th. Rodriguez, a good run, going to finish in 5th. Man, I mean, typically when you come to Nurburgring, it's usually the Nordschleife that is involved, and obviously there's tons of chaos, tons of things that can mix it up. We just need the GP here tonight to mix all kinds of things up.
Exactly, and I mean, no surprise. They provide us with plenty to talk about, plenty of drama. I mean, we got some new people here up and finishing in the podium. Bryce finally Bryce had quite the eventful night, so he's able to come away and get the win here tonight. And, a good finish for John too, starting in the back, having to navigate his way through all the traffic. And Diaz, who led most of the first half of this race, able to salvage it and come home in 3rd. So the boys here put on another great show. Well,
talking points. They never give us a lack of talking points every week. And I mean, man, this was crazy. And you look at both classes here tonight. Obviously, the pro class, top 5 separated by basically nothing the entire night here, and all kinds of good battling. But even in the M class, you've seen Rayner made the big mistake early, and we had 5 guys lead here tonight in the M class, as your top 5 all had their time at the front. Rayner getting the win here tonight, but Nobinger was at the front. Diaz had led some laps. Torres was even up there, and Rodriguez, once everybody came in the pits, he ran it the longest, and he was even out front for a little bit. But this was a good one, to say the least. I think that's the easiest way of putting it. But we'll try and get these guys in here for their well-deserved interviews here tonight. Just trying to wrangle the last couple guys in here, but heck of a run here tonight. And we might as well start with the pro class. I mean, they put on one heck of a show, and we'll go ahead and start bringing them in. We'll start with our 3rd place finisher here tonight, and just if it lets me grab them for some reason. There we go. All right, so we'll start with our 3rd place finisher. Joe, why don't you go ahead and take the 15 of Devin Young?
Hey, Devin, you got a copy?
Hey, I should be here. I hear you. Yep.
All righty. Hey, you come away here with 3rd. Talk us through your race here tonight.
Yeah. It was pretty good. It's a bit of a weird track. You feel like you suck the entire time, but your times are okay. I don't know if that's what everyone feels, but it's what I felt. Not a very good quali, and made up a couple spots, so worked out well. Put too much fuel in at the stop, or else maybe I could have stayed up with the top 2, but I don't know if I was going to pass them anyway.
Hey, you were able to put down the fastest lap of the race, so you had the speed there. Definitely had the speed there for something. Maybe if you wouldn't, like you said, got too much fuel in there, you could have got something there. But it seemed like Siviani and Peter just were flawless on their pit stops, and Siviani was able to get around Peter there and was able to hold him off as the laps wound down there.
Yeah, and I was sticking with them early on there. I got to slow down and caught back up. So I felt like I had
okay,
pace,
yeah,
but yeah.
It looked like you had lost the lead pack there for a little bit, but were able to come back up into them because you got back to like about a little over a second, but were able to drive back up to them because it was like the top 5 were like just, you guys were, I mean, a second and a half from each other, just putting on some good racing there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I think at one point, it was 5 of us or so that were pretty tight, and no one was making any mistakes. It wasn't really a time where anyone was really making any moves, so it didn't get kind of clustered up too much. But yeah, I thought I thought it was a decent race in terms of not getting myself in trouble. So that usually helps.
Yeah, you were following Peter there in 5th, and you guys were catching the top 3, and then they caught a lap car there, and everything kind of got jumbled up, and you guys were able to, I think, Colin pit that next lap, and then you guys were right there, and then not too long after that, all the pit cycle started and everything. So it was a good night. I mean, you definitely had the speed. You definitely had speed. I mean, putting in the fastest lap by a couple tenths there, it looked like. So definitely had the speed here tonight.
Yeah, it just wasn't. It was just one of those. Again, I don't know if everyone feels the same here. It's a weird track. It feels like it understeers in some places, and then you get some oversteer in other spots and some of the slow speed stuff. So just an interesting track. I've never raced at it before. But one of those ones you just kind of feel like you're driving in the rain a little bit the entire time, and the only reason why you're doing okay is because your times and stuff are comparable to the top guys. So it didn't feel great, but yeah, it's probably the same for everybody.
Yeah, I just got some. I hadn't really put any laps down at this track either, and got to be able to put some in last night and here before the race, and it's a fun little track. I mean, action throughout the whole thing, and it pretty much has everything you'd probably want out of a road course. So it's definitely fun to drive, and especially when you got speed like you, it makes it even funner, and we're able to come away 3rd here tonight.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's just one of those tracks you just don't feel like you have grip everywhere. Some tracks you can throw the car in and it feels like you have grip everywhere. And you're slower than people, and then here it just feels like you're always kind of sliding around. I don't know if it's probably just the track or how it is, but no, very enjoyable. I not trying to diss the track or nothing. It's just how the car felt is all. Yeah.
Well, before we let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, I don't know. Just the Midwest guys, I guess, and yeah, we took a little bit of a love tap or two in the 24, so it feels good to get a result here.
Right on. Well, congrats, and go celebrate, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yep.
That is the driver of the 15, second place in the pro class here tonight, Devin Young. from the Great White North in Canada. And again, it's pretty cool when you have a international podium, as we have Canada here in third. Second place is going to be Peter Muller from the USA, and we'll bring him in right now. And Peter, a heck of a run here tonight, and you started off right up there, and it was a 5-car battle inside the top 5, and you guys were all separated by 2.5 seconds or less for a majority of that first run. What a race here tonight. I mean, the Nurburgring GP is not a track that necessarily gets touched that often. I mean, do you have some experience here? Is it a track that kind of favors your eye?
Hey, gentlemen. Actually, my first practice laps were about an hour before the race here.
I was gonna say, if you come out here and say you don't like the track, I'm gonna call BS.
I have some time around the track, but I actually have more time around. I was thinking about it. I have more time around the combined circuit than I do around the Grand Prix circuit. No, I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, you should be. You had plenty of pace out there, and it almost seemed like you had so much pace that we were wondering if you were kind of holding back a little bit in that first run when you were back there in the middle of the top 5, and you had your chance to get up there. You battled with Janzik for a little bit, and as soon as you made that pass, he dipped into the pits. Were you worried about the undercut at that point, or? I mean, to me, it looked like you just put your head down and you were hammered down.
I was very surprised with that. Siviani and I were just talking about that. We were trying to figure it out. I guess he was like a second faster in the pits than I was, he said.
He was, yep.
So, yeah. That was a big surprise.
So,
that was a big surprise.
What was it about when you got into the lead? It seemed like you had some pretty good pace, obviously, to keep up with that top 5. But as soon as that Porsche got into that clean air, was it just because the fuel was burning off and you just started getting faster, or what was the case? Because as soon as you got out there, you started checking out from Siviani pretty quickly.
I mean, kind of unfortunate for Craig and Colin what they ran into, because the whole top 4 or 5 were all similarly paced and very quick. I think people burned up their tires a little bit in the beginning because Craig's pace began to fall off, and I was kind of right on him. I didn't want to risk a dive or something like that, so I was just trying to be patient and just try and put in consistent laps.
Well, it certainly worked out, and you even had some time at the front, but you come out and you were right there with Madrigal. That 1 second in the pit lane that he was a little bit quicker than you ended up being the difference. It seemed like you were right there, and maybe you could hang with him, but he just put on just a little bit too much pace on those first couple laps when you're out there with those maybe not fresh tires, but maybe a little cooler, and you had to kind of get back into your groove. Was that the telltale sign that it was going to be tough to catch him?
Yeah, I was just trying to put in consistent laps. I tried to push a little bit to catch up to him, and I did here and there, but Siviani was very fast around here tonight. He had the fastest time in practice by a good 5 or 6 tenths, if I remember right. So once he got it dialed in, he was very quick. So I'm happy with second, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely, you should. And with how close the other top 5 was here tonight, I mean, anyone in the top 5 would have been a good finish. But you grabbed second here tonight, so congrats on that. It looks like, by my calculation, you should be the points leader leaving here as well after round 5. What's the thoughts on that? I mean, how does it feel to be leading the points here after 5 races?
I'm smiling. No, there's still a long way to go. Everybody's really quick. The racing gods can bite just like they did last week. I don't even want to think about last week. That was probably my worst race, possibly ever. So. Yeah.
Well, either way, it worked out, and that's why you have the drops mixed in there as well, just to keep you up there. But congrats on the second place here tonight. Congrats on the top step of the points podium right now after the halfway point. So give you a little time to give any shout outs or thanks you have before we let you go celebrate.
Yeah, no, thanks again. Shout out to Siviani and Devin. Devin did a good job. He was pretty quick today too. Shout out again as well to you guys at Core, to CSRL, and my team, Solpec Precision Racing. Great group.
All right. Well, once again, congrats on the second place. We'll see you next week at Mugello and see if you can back this thing up.
Thanks, Jonathan.
That is your second place finisher here tonight, the 997 of Peter Moeller. Finally, to complete the international podium here tonight from Costa Rica, I believe, is Siviani Madrigal. Joe, why don't you go ahead and take our winner here in the Pro Class?
Siviani, you got a copy?
Hey, yo, yeah, a copy.
Hey man, I don't know if you have a nickname or not, but I'm dubbing you Mr. Smooth. You're so smooth in this race car, and in a new race car this week. You're driving the Corvette this week. You're just so smooth, and you let the race come to you, and you don't try to do anything that you can't do. You just stay within your own your own feet, and you come away with the win here tonight, and it just by being smooth and being consistent.
Yeah. Well, so you have explained actually what happened today. Well, because so I know that in this Corvette, I was trying a couple of times with this Corvette, and I really love this car. It's a really nice one. But yeah, I feel like sometimes in the top speed, for me at least, it was not working so well. That's why I didn't use it in Spain and in the last week. But here today, I feel like I was connected with the Corvette, and I feel very, very comfortable. I tried with the Ferrari, and also it was very good. But I feel much better the Corvette today, and that's why I used the Corvette. And yeah, in the race, it was something that I was really, I noticed in the practice that I have pace and I have also speed here with the Corvette. Unfortunately, I made a huge mistake. In the quali session. That's where I just got the P6, I guess, from quali. But then, so I just tried to keep there. And as you said, so that's something I have in my mind. So just wait for the race to see what happened during the race. Because, well, even there is only 40 minutes. Sometimes people get crazy very early, right, during the race, and they lost or they made a mistake, and maybe we can get advantage of get a new position right there. But yeah, today I just was get there. I was really, really lucky because we got Colin have. Unfortunately, he had a lapid guide and the SS, Schumacher SS, and Craig Colin has a contact right there. Also, Craig was just about to have a crash right there with the lap guide. And I just have to move a little bit to the right, and unfortunately, my car didn't suffer any damage. But yeah, I think that's why Colin has to stop very, very early in the race. And then also Craig stopped as well very early. And I just tried to keep there behind Peter. And yeah, so I think also Peter have a long pit stop than me. And that also helped me. So I think this is a lucky time tonight.
Oh, well, I mean, you said you had pace in practice, but I bet your other drivers would disagree. You were on a different planet than the rest of them, having almost a half a second of pace on them there in practice. I mean, and like you said, I was surprised that you qualified P6 because you had so much pace there, with your lap time. So, but you're still able to just be smooth and let the race come to you, and eventually everything worked out, and you were able to get out in front of it. I mean, it was close there coming out of pit road, right? I mean, you had to have been looking in that mirror and watching that relative to see where he was going to be coming out at.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. So I don't know. So yeah, I was trying to. That's something that maybe we learned, right, during many races. Try to be smooth, as Carlos Sainz says, right, a smooth operator, and that's something, right, that we need to learn. And yeah, so it's really difficult during the races because also this is really emotional time and exciting time, and you get very, very excited sometimes, and you try to do something faster, but yet sometimes doesn't work and sometimes works. Yeah, I think that's something that. Yeah, we tried every race, something different, something the same. But yeah, so that's lucky for me tonight. And yeah, so I got the P1. Yeah, it's pretty nice, right? Because it was a really tough race. I see the pace that Peter has, and also Peter was behind me in fourth position just before we got that collision with the lap guide that we get in front. And yeah, but yeah, we were that. I think that the the 5 drivers, we have like a pretty similar pace, and it was a really, really nice one. But yeah, so I think at the end, well, I just little lucky today, and finally I get the final position P1 at least.
Well, you picked a good time. I mean, Craig and Colin didn't have their best days, and so you're going to be able to gain some points on them as the top of this pro class is tight, and it's going to come down to these last couple races as we're just now halfway through. So you got yourself in a good position here to make a real hard run at this championship. So congrats on the win here tonight. And anybody you want to give a shout out to? Well,
thank you to you guys, because yeah, you do every Wednesday you do amazing broadcast right here. It's really nice. Thank you guys for this, and also to everybody in the league, right? The administrators, and also today to Peter, because he also did a great and amazing race today, and also Craig and Colin. Unfortunately, they have something different there right there, but yeah, so we are battling for that championship. It will be very nice at the end of this champion. So it was really funny.
All right, well, congrats, Mr. Smooth, and we will see you next week.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good one. Take care.
You too.
That is your winner here in the pro class, the 8 of Siviani Madrigal. We'll head on over to the amateur class now, and we'll start with our 3rd place finisher, and that is the 87 of Antonio Avendano Diaz. Antonio, it seems to be you're getting a hang of this Mustang here a little bit. You had some time at the front of the AM class pack here tonight as well. Do you feel like it's kind of coming in a little bit now after a couple races?
Nah.
No. Enough said. We'll talk about something else.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm still. Christian was the fastest guy today on AM class, I gotta say. Well, comparing to me and AM class people, not John and Bryce, they guys too. They should be on pro class, to be honest. But anyway, I didn't have pace tonight. I was just trying to survive, and keep at least forward. I knew Christian was gonna be faster than me, so that's why I was like, yeah. When he messed up on the turn, I was like, I cannot believe it. This is my opportunity. So I just tried to keep, pushing, so I can control the car. But he was gonna pass me. He had more pace than me, I believe.
Also, sometimes it's not the pace. It's being right there and being in the opportune moment, and it was good enough to like I said, get you in the lead for a little bit. And you may not have been the fastest AM class driver out there, but for a little bit of time it looked like you got a chance to step up even higher on the podium here tonight. But after it's all said and done, I mean, you come home in 3rd. It's got to feel good coming home in the 3rd and on a track that again it doesn't really get touched that much here.
I know I was struggling. I just learned the track the other day on practice. So that's why I think I was kind of slow. That's why I didn't know the line, the racing line.
Well, so, the slow and steady didn't win you the race here tonight, but it got you a podium. So congrats on the 3rd place here tonight. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to before we let you go?
Everybody here, and me, Wesley. That's it.
All right. Well, we'll let you go celebrate the podium here tonight. We'll see you next week at Mugello.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice day.
You too.
Night. Sorry.
Yep. That is your 3rd place finisher here tonight in the AM class, the 87 of Antonio Avendano Diaz. 2nd place here tonight came in as the points leader, and it looked a little rough for a little bit, but it is going to be the 44 of John Nominger.
John, how we doing?
Wishing I could remember to set a banker qualifying lap.
What transpired there in your qualifying? Just off tracks, or what happened there?
First one, I was just kind of going easy. Made it through the first couple turns, and wound up, had the relative pulled up and was like 2.5 tenths up, and I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll make this my go lap, and clipped the inside of the right-hander coming out of that little first complex, got an off track, went, oh, crud. All right, I'll work on getting the tires warm. And the next lap, I was up about 2.5 tenths again at the very end, and got on the gas a little too hard, got a little too greedy, and touched the gravel coming out of the last turn, and off track invalidated time.
All right, so take me through the thought process there. You're coming into this race as the points leader, and you mess up your qualifying. You got to start in the back. What's the mindset as the race is getting ready to start?
Watching the parking lot going into turn one.
Stay wide. Everybody should spin towards the inside of the turn. You'll get the inside of the next one, and see if you can't slide through. Just to make it through. That was, try to be as optimistic but safe as possible.
So, like, I mean, as an overall night, is it just survive and see what we can get, or is it, I gotta get up to the front, immediately as fast as I can?
Well, with Bryce qualifying on pole, it was okay. I've got half a second of pace on a lot of these guys, including the pros. So I need to go. If I have any chance, maybe I can undercut Bryce, but I got to get a little bit through this field. And then when he had his trouble, I was like, all right, I need to make some space. And unfortunately, him pitting on lap one and having some free and clean air to run in, just being held up by other cars, trying to get around them 2 or 3 seconds here and there, stacked up. And I think after the pit phase, I was about 12 seconds behind him. And, pretty much I may have been able to put in a faster lap than him, but not closing down 12 seconds worth. So.
Yeah, at that point, he was he tried to give it to you. I don't know if you seen what had happened to him, but he tried to give it away at the end there, but he was able to not take too much damage and keep it get it back on track and keep it out in front of you. But I mean, even on a day where you come in as a points leader and you don't get a qualify and you start in the back, you're still able to come away with a P2. You win championships on your bad days, and if a second is one of your bad days after qualifying or starting in the back, I'm sure that's a day you'll take.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate because this is one of my favorite tracks. This and like Daytona, I've got. I was actually looking, and I've got about 50 hours through, the Nordschleife here, and also doing the GP track part of that. So it's like, okay, got plenty of practice. We'll put it to use. And I don't know. Next week, is it Mugello or the other one?
Yeah, Mugello. Next week.
Mugello.
Yeah. Run there once before, not my favorite track, so I guess I'll have to put in a lot of practice, but I was hoping to at least, if nothing else, actually be able to be somewhere near Bryce on track, maybe have a little bit of a battle, and not, other ends of the spectrum passing in the night, and we still wind up 1 and 2 somehow at some of these tracks. So catching them on track would be fun.
Well, there's still half season left to go. I'm sure you guys will have countless battles as the rest of the season plays out. So, but you came away here second tonight. Probably gonna help your points situation, maybe extend your lead a little bit. And before we let you go, anybody want to give a shout out to?
For you and I should lose my train of thought there for a second. Carl, for doing the broadcast. Looking forward to watching this one, and for Jim and all the admins here who put up with us and do the league stuff. I know it's not an easy job.
All right, we'll let you get out of here and celebrate, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
That is your second place finish here tonight in the M class, the 44 of John Nominger. Finally, we will bring in the M class winner, and I guess it's appropriate seeing him come back on the track here as soon as we bring him in here. But Bryce, it's not often that we talk about what could have been with a guy that wins his own class, but I mean, you qualify on pole, not on pole of the AM class, on the pole of the entire race here tonight, and you battle with Craig all the way through the first lap before you have that little off on the last corner. I mean, do I dare ask if you feel something slipped away here tonight?
All I could say is it's frustrating. It really is. I really did not think my qualifying was going to stand. That was only my first lap, and that's what I set, and then screwed up my second lap. So overall, thought it was going to go really, really well. I know Craig personally. He didn't do that on purpose. He didn't cut down on me. Didn't know he was taking that kind of line, or I would have backed off. great racing up front for the time being until I, wrecked it. But coming off that last corner, he saw me, then he came back up. So I just kind of stepped on it. And when I stepped on it, my wheel technically wasn't straight. So kind of shot me to the left. But yeah, frustrating to battle all the way through that first lap with my wheel pretty much 20 degrees to the left. And then come in for the pit, get fuel, and hopefully just battle back, and that's what I did.
Yeah, I mean, what's the mindset? Coming back after having to pit on lap number 2. First of all, I guess maybe the question is, was there any concern towards the end on fuel? I mean, were you easily good to go on fuel all the way to the end? I know you guys can probably fill this up a little bit more than what you start with.
Yeah, once I came out the pits, didn't really know where my fuel stand was. I didn't know if I was good. I don't know if I was short. I was thinking I was short, but by the time I probably got to halfway, once everyone started pitting, checked my black box, made sure it was good, and I had 2 to 3 laps of extra fuel, so could have made my pit stop a little bit shorter, but didn't want to risk it, so, yeah, battled back, and yeah, I don't know, it's frustrating.
Well, you come all the way back, and by the time you took the lead, you were out there to about 15 seconds ahead of John Nominger, but you didn't finish 15 seconds ahead because you had a little bit of a moment there once again, and right around the same complex as well. I mean, what was going through the mind at that point? Was it like not again, and looking at the relative and seeing how much time you still had to play with?
Exactly, you said it. Yeah, not again. It was, going back to battling throughout the field. I didn't really battle anyone, which sucked because I love battling guys on the track. It's fun. It's overtaking, letting them by, you name it. It's a blast, and I have fun with it. So when that happened, I felt frustrated, and I was like, man, I probably threw that away. Even the top 3 in the AM class, I was like, man, it's over. So throughout the whole, I don't know how many laps I was alone for, I was pushing it. So towards the end, my tires were pretty much gone. But that left right-hander is my favorite part. I love that. It's somewhat of a high-speed turn, and you just have to hit it right, because if you don't, you'll do what I did. But I just got right on the curb, and as soon as I got off and then went to go brake, kind of, again, shot me to the right, and then I overcorrected and slammed on the brakes, and hopefully I didn't hit anything, but I did. No damage, thankfully. I finished the race and overtook Tyler at the last turn because he ran out of fuel. So
yeah, that was going to be my next question. If you had any damage from that, we hopped on board with you to see if the wheel was still straight after that one. Looked like everything was still good to go, but it had to be a brown pants moment, to say the least.
Yep.
Well, you get it done.
Especially in the sand. The sand, you really can't stop the car. Like you're on for the ride. So
yeah, you're almost better off being on the grass, which shouldn't make sense, but it kind of does. Well, either way, you get it done here tonight. Not without some fun. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
But you get it done here tonight.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it
Made it
really was
interesting.
for me too. Yeah, no, it was fun.
But on top of that, it looks like unless I'm wrong, you're going to be tied for the points lead heading out of here after round number 5. So, thoughts on being at the halfway point, tied for the lead, and what your thoughts are for the second half of the season?
It's good. I've been getting better and better as the weeks go on, I should say. And yeah, me and John were talking earlier. I think we'll be tied. If not, he'll probably have 1 point advantage over me. If that's the case. If not, we'll keep fighting for the championship on the second half of the season. Hopefully we keep it much cleaner. In the second half, there are some tracks I like in the second half. I don't have them, but I do like them from, experience and watching other cars on the track at those places. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to try to keep the pace that I have now and keep pushing forward, and hopefully we can make maybe an overall win sometime soon. Who knows?
We'll see what you got for us in store for the second half of the season. But take some time to celebrate this one and celebrate getting to the top of the points as well. But before we let you do, we want to give a shout out to our thanks to.
You guys up in the booth, you guys probably had a fun little show to watch and commentate on. So appreciate you guys for doing that. Gonna go rewatch that back to see what happened and everything like that. But definitely thanks to you guys. Thanks to Jim, Craig, Colin, Peter, all of them guys to put this league on. And thanks to Fanatec and Digital Sim Sports and CRN.
All right, well, congrats again on the win here tonight. We'll see you next week and see if you can back it up here and maybe give these guys in the pro class a little run for their money.
Yeah, maybe we'll go for the 3-peat. Who knows?
All right, that is your winner here tonight in the AM class, the 24 of Bryce Rayner, or Reiner. Joe, it was another great night. I mean, I know it seems like a broken record here at this point, but another great race here by CSRL, another night where we've had just all kinds of talking points the entire time. It's not like just one guy just takes it and drives away with it. I mean, I know I'm sure for some of the AM class drivers they might have felt that at the end there with Reiner taking advantage of it, but I mean there's still plenty of battling going on somewhere on the track, and tonight once again the pro class kind of shined with that 5-car battle.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is kind of like the first race that I feel like where, the AM class with, Bryce and John kind of drove away from everybody else. But, I mean, it's a track that they're really good at. Obviously, John has logged, so much, probably more time than the rest of the AM class combined here. I mean, John is just a nut over Nurburgring. So, he's got his time in here. And Bryce is showing that he's on maybe another level, but he's still got some room to grow as we've seen here tonight. I mean, he's not without mistake. He's human. So, and as far as the pro class, I mean, the standings got flipped upside down a little bit, and Siviani, Mr. Smooth, was able to come away with a win and tighten up this point standings, and we'll see what they have in store for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, a log jam at the top of both the point standings is probably the only way you can really describe it. I mean, it's going to be ridiculously tight at the top of the pro class. It's going to be even tighter at the top of the M class with which should be a tie for the lead at the top. So plenty to look forward to. I mean, we're only halfway through the season. We got 5 more of these races to go, and we get to put away the German for a little bit and head on over to Italy, as we're not just going to be able to take a 1.5 hour car ride like we did for this track. And I mean, we want to take a car ride. It's going to be almost a 12-hour drive from Nuremberg, Germany to Florence, Italy, to head to the Mugello circuit. But it beats walking. It's a cool 235-hour walk from here to there. So I'll go ahead and book our flight now to head over to Florence, Italy. But yeah, second half of the season gonna have some great newer tracks and maybe some tracks you haven't ever seen before, and a lot of Italian flair as once again we head to Mugello next week, and then we go right from there to Imola, the Enzo E. Dino Ferrari Grand Prix circuit. Then we head over to America for one of the only 2 races in America, and head to Road America on 8/14. Hockenheim back in Germany for one more, and then finish it off at the Misano World Circuit, Marco Simonelli, to finish off this season. But if it's anything like the first half of this season, it's going to be ridiculous. And you're in the right spot here at CRN. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe, and catch all this action here of CSRL and all the other action that CRN brings you. But that's going to do it for our broadcast here. Season 9, Round 5 in the books. Round 6 next week at Mugello. Tune in. But for myself and Joe here at Nurburgring, we'll see you at the track.